Morning, everybody. Come on in. Hey, Betty. Everybody's flying in now. Hey there. Hey, Pam. Hi. Thanks for the hearts. Yep, we're pushing for those hearts. Thank you so much. Hey, Kathy. Thank you. Hello, Clara. Sugar Happy Cookie, don't know your name. Hi. Kathy, I don't think I've seen... Were you here last week? I can't remember. Hey, Tracy. Oh, thank you. This is one I'm working on for my collection. So it's a mini collection. Hi, Claudia. Hi, everybody. Why don't you go ahead and share with your followers? I don't think so, beautiful. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I know, it's something I'm working on. It's not done. It's got a third tier. I'm still working on it. Yes, I'm going to cover my boards. I have 2 I'm working on, so just getting it out there. And this is the one, of course, I did with Jay. So, yeah, because we're talking about weddings today. Hey, everybody. Hi, Jenny. Thanks for inviting followers. Yay! But this isn't just about wedding cakes. Hey, Jazz, how are you? This isn't just about wedding cakes. It's about weddings, desserts, and we'll talk about what's hot. Yay! Is that your first one? Good job, Kathy. Congrats. It's always exciting to book weddings. Second, good for you. Awesome. All right, I'm going to flip you around. I have to sit down. Hi, guys. Just finished a bridal show. Oh, yeah, I haven't never done one of those, so I'm not sure. Yay! Congratulations! The Houston Wedding Extravaganza. Well, we can talk about those too. Yay! Usually I kind of do scopes that are pretty... They go across all platforms. They can apply to anybody that does cakes from home or desserts out of their home. Today I decided to get specific because while I've talked about bits and pieces about weddings, I thought it would be good to do a whole scope about the business of weddings and how to start getting involved in weddings. Just now in the process switching to wedding cakes. Good. I still do everything. Although I'm working on a couple things this year, which I've talked about before, where I'm a preferred vendor for 2 venues, and I have a tasting next week with a huge wedding planner who's been in this community for a very long time. And we had a phone interview, and we're having a tasting next week. And if that happens, I'm hoping I can just do wedding cakes, because ideally, I love doing them. They're big bucks. Weddings in general are big money. It's the biggest bang for the buck, and we'll go into that. I had a phone interview with the owner of Queen of Hearts Cakes here in Philadelphia. So Queen of Hearts, they're Queen of Hearts event planners. So yes. Okay. Good morning. Did you send the add-on to those that already bought the contract? What add-on? Oh, okay. I think you were saying you did that with the bride. Oh, no. They are stressful, especially in the beginning. Those that are, which Cake Majesty, which add-on? Are you talking about the serving? I sent to everybody who bought, I'm 45 minutes west of Philly. I sent a add-on to the contracts. Anybody who just bought the contracts, it's my last contract scope, has the new serving size clause in there. If you bought in the past, I have a record of everybody that bought the contract, and I emailed all the contracts, either the large or the small, and I emailed the clause that you can insert, and it was about serving sizes, if that's what you mean. If you didn't get one, email me, and I'll send you that clause. Good morning. Why do you keep... Her Cake Majesty, you're repeating yourself 3 times, so... Anyway, So you want to do weddings. That's what I'm titling this today. My name, for those of you that don't know, and there's only 37 people, I'm disappointed. But I guess not everybody wants to do weddings, so I think for those of you that just joined, if you can go ahead and share, that would be great. Also, if you share on Twitter, that would be really awesome. Cake Majesties, no, I haven't. Go ahead and email me, and I will send it to you. But Twitter is really good for this because you'll get people that aren't necessarily part of your followers, or so whenever I'm watching a scope, I share both on Twitter and with my followers, and I'll tell you why. Because on Twitter, I can go back and click on, so then I could see it online. Great, and this is a great scope for you. Cake Majesty, this keeps coming up. I'm not sure what's going on. I just got your fourth asking the same question. My daughter's going to start making wedding cakes. I'll share your info with her. Okay. I'm not going to tell you how to make wedding cakes. That's not what I'm here for. As usual, I'm here for the business end of things. Hey, Laura. I didn't see you there. How are you, hon? You didn't get it. No, I haven't. Okay. Email me and I will send it to you, Cake Majesty, okay? It's the serving size clause. If you bought my contract, please send me your name because I don't know you don't go by your handle. Okay, so weddings. And Laura, you're in England. This goes for you too. This goes for anybody all over the world. All I'm going to talk about 8 years ago. Right, so I'm Lauren. I live 45 minutes outside. I'm not sure either. I've never seen that before. I'm located 45 minutes outside of Philadelphia. I have been in business for 13 years, and I've been doing weddings for 8. And the reason why I started doing weddings, I'm not sure. I'm not sure either. Maybe it's stopped now. Her Cake Majesty. I don't know her name. 8 years ago, January and February were always my slowest times. I don't know about you. Go to buy your products contracts. If you go to catch.me/Bellas_desserts, you can see my scope about it. I was like, what's going on? Hey, Cake Majesty, you might want to exit out and come back in. That might stop because things are repeating with your account. I don't know. So 8 years ago, January and February are always slow for me, and March really. And I wasn't in weddings then. I just did cakes. I just did, other cupcakes and cakes, regular stuff, And I went to apprentice at a French patisserie because I was bored and because I was all about French pastries at the time. And I thought, oh, wow, I could learn a lot. So it was a local bakery, and I was at his shop for 3 weeks, and in that 3 weeks, his phone rang nonstop for weddings. And I was like, weddings? I want to do weddings. No, because I'm in Pennsylvania. But if someone on here is in Missouri, talk to Family Woman. She needs a wedding cake. So he was getting all these phone calls for weddings, and I was like, how is he getting so many phone calls? Because his was the traditional French sponge with mousses, just not your typical wedding cake for around here. Yeah. So I decided I wanted to check out this wedding thing. I wanted to start doing weddings. At that point, I'd been in business for 5 years, and I decided, oh, Pam, perfect. I decided that I was going to check this thing out. So he was a jerk, as I think a lot of French chefs are, and it was no problem for me to quit. I was there a week, and I gave him a 2-week notice because it was like I wasn't learning anything. He was having me wash dishes and crack eggs. He wouldn't let anybody bake anything or make anything. He did it all. So I was like, this is not what I signed up for. I signed up to learn something, and I already know how to wash dishes, right? So I quit. I went home. And for 1 month, I did my research on weddings. I researched wedding websites, okay, and went to all these wedding websites. I don't even think I bought a book. I checked out The Knot. It was like intense internet research. I already knew how to do stacked cakes because I was doing that already. I started, at Cake Central. Again, I would go in there and ask questions. I found there were hundreds of bridal websites that offered free advertising or link exchange. And we've talked about that before. You need to have a website. Okay. The whole thing about weddings, you got to step up your game. If you're thinking about it, if you want to do it and you already have a business, you have to step up your game because what website? If you just Google wedding websites, that's all I did. And I found them there. So if this is something you want to do, and let me tell you, if you've been in business for a while, I'm not talking 1 or 2 years, because I tell you what, you do not have, I don't believe at 1 to 2 years, you might think you're ready, but this is a whole nother ball game. And it's not just cakes, it's cupcakes. That's why I put in the groups. It isn't just about wedding cakes. 50% of my weddings are cupcakes. Okay. And, about 45% are cakes, and another 5, just invested in it. Perfect. That's fantastic. And 5% is about mini desserts, like dessert tables. So cake pops, RKTs, and cookies too. I have not seen that, and that was something, if you've seen cake pops and stuff like that, that's great. I just haven't, because I don't offer them. I do offer edible favors, which are cookies, but it's not worth my time to do, drop cookies, platters of cookies. I can't stand doing cake pops. Perfect. That's great. I had a 300 cupcake wedding last year with a cutting cake on top. Big money. I mean, your cupcakes, if you already do cupcakes like I already did, they are the price. They're not per serving, obviously. It's your price is your price. Never cut a deal. Never say, and I did this in the beginning, never say, oh, well, you'll get a break over 150 cupcakes, because in most cases they are a lot of cupcakes. Never offer a break, never offer a discount. The price is the price, and you upcharge for decorations. I don't upcharge for sprinkles. But I do upcharge for everything else. So we'll get back to the specifics. Okay. So do your research. And this took me a month, and I was a stay-at-home mom. My kid was at school. It was probably 6 hours a day. This is going to take some time. Okay. So research wedding websites that you can advertise for free. But before you do that, well, let's back up. Your website is the first thing a bride sees. You cannot do this, or you can, I guess, but I strongly recommend against doing a Facebook page as your website if you're going into weddings and big events. This is a big deal, people, and you can't just have a Facebook page necessarily. And some of you might, some of you might, but most people I know have a website of some sort for, if they're serious about weddings. I just redid my website last year to reflect that I just want to do weddings. It's much more elegant. It's much more upscale. Business cards. Make sure your business cards are professional looking. Here, I'll show you one. You don't want one that reflects kids' parties. So maybe you have 2 sets of business cards. Maybe you have your fun and frivolous one. Yes, I understand that, family woman. And someone said she will private message you, who lives in Missouri. I live in Pennsylvania. So I came up with a logo a couple years ago after I did weddings. And I just made a custom card this recently, to make it look elegant and professional. And these are what those 2 venues are handing out. So, you just want to upgrade your game. You have to upgrade your game if you want to get serious. This is not going to be like, oh, I'm going to start doing weddings tomorrow. It's going to take you probably about 3 months to totally get absorbed, involved, get the feel of it, because you're going to have to do tastings. You have to do tastings. You have to be good with people. You have to be patient. You have to be kind. You have to be helpful. This is not the same business. It might be the same products. It is not the same business, okay? Brides and grooms are a completely different ballgame. So if you don't have the stomach for people asking you 10 million questions, and this is, of course, again, the same applies. You don't give them, and you have to be excited. You have to be passionate. If you're just like, okay, why would someone who this is going to be the biggest day of their life to date, why would they go with a Debbie Downer? Why would they go with someone who has an attitude? Why would they go with someone that looks like a slob? Why would they go with someone whose kids are running around? They don't, and they won't, okay? So I'm not judging anybody. I'm just, yes, I'm preaching about if you want to do weddings, this is what you want to do. Because obviously I don't know you all. But these are the things you have to do. And of course, my first tasting was a person who came down from the Upper East Side of Manhattan, which I was completely and utterly shocked about. She was getting married in Southern New Jersey, 175 cupcake wedding. It was the scariest time of my life, even though it was just cupcakes, but it was my first wedding. And when I got there, I had never done an event like that, but with the caterers, and it was, it was the caterers. It was, like flowers. These people spent thousands of dollars. Those of you who haven't done weddings or big events, believe me, it's very intimidating. And you have to be professional. I can't say enough about professionalism. Don't go for it if you can't stand bridezillas. Don't now, and I'm not talking about money yet, okay? I'm talking about when a bride calls you. Pretty much one of the first things I find now is a bride doesn't want to talk on the phone with you. You can look on my website, bellasdesserts.com. It has all my menus. And for the tastings, that's on there too, but I only offer 3 tastings because a tasting is a tasting, which means they're coming to meet you. They're coming to evaluate you. They're coming to taste the quality of your work. There's a lot of places like Jay, who only gives specific flavors. Might not be the ones they ultimately want, but this is what they're going to get because by certain cakes, like my vanilla, my chocolate, my buttercream, just from those 2 flavors alone and my buttercream, that person is going to walk out that door and know exactly what they're going to get no matter what they order because it's all about the quality and that's what a tasting is for. I used to do specific tastings, like they could pick any flavor they wanted and so on and so forth. And I'm really moving away with that from that because I find being a home baker, it's not like you have all this stuff sitting around. It's not like you can go grab a cupcake out of your case. It is, you have to bake for those tastings. And when you don't have a lot of tastings, I don't recommend baking a cake and freezing it because every time you freeze and thaw or whatever, the quality is going to go down. So I bake cupcakes. I bake a small batch of cupcakes or I'll do a very small cake. That for a taste. So you have to do tastings. If you can't do it in your home, find a great place that you love. Like wherever. Hello, City Girl Treats. Or go to their house. There's a lot of people that will go to the clients' houses for tastings. Charge for your tastings. Do not do tastings for free. For those of you that want to argue with me, go ahead. But my stance is you charge for those tastings. The brides that don't want to charge for tastings are shopping, meaning they're going to 6 or 7 places so they can eat cake. They're not serious, okay? I charge $25 as well. I used to do it for free, but then I had no-shows. And so I started charging. This was back then. I started charging so people would show up, and they did. And then now I charge because it's an hour of my time. I have to bake for you. I don't tell them this. Like this attitude, they never see. But this is why I charge. And everybody should charge. There are some people that charge a lot, like $50. I give it back for every order. It's $25 and I give it as a credit on the cake and I let them know that because some people are hesitant about paying. And I just tell them you get, and it's on my website. I have a whole wedding page on my website that explains weddings, has links to my galleries, has links to my menus, and has links to my frequently asked questions. So I always give the money back if they book with you. If they don't book with you, no skin off of your nose. You got paid for your time. What's it page? It's bellasdesserts.com. And at the top, you'll see a bunch of tabs. Click on weddings, and that's where you'll find everything. Like a bride can just click weddings, and there's links and everything right there. Nobody ever goes there. Hey, Sydney, thank you. Loving the scopes, and I have to watch. I'm so glad you're putting the scopes on the site because I don't have time. I hate watching replays. So great job so far. I haven't opened lesson 4, but go ahead and sign up on SweetFest for her business and branding series. It's great. And this is, if you want to go into weddings, I highly recommend doing this, because if you haven't done weddings, you haven't been in business long, please sign up for this class, because a lot of what her first 3 lessons were exactly what I got from Jay so far. So I still did the work that day, still used my products, and you ate it. No give backs. Okay. That's your choice. Most people who do tastings give the money back. So, but yeah, I just really want to stress that it's a totally different ball game when it comes to your attitude and your professionalism. If you have someone, I've had brides that walk in that are bitches with the attitude. I'm sorry, I'm not going to put up with that. I'm not going to be bitchy back because it is my reputation, but I'm not going to feed into the bitchiness. I'm going to be calm and answer her questions. And if she doesn't want to put down a retainer at that time, I will no longer answer any more questions via email or anything else. As far as being answered, that's why I put everything on my website. And if people have specific questions, I point them to my website. I think a lot of people don't like it, but I'm not going to spend hours on my phone talking to someone who, just to answer questions. How do you say no thank you to people who you don't want to work with? I say I'm fully booked. Because a lot of times a bride will come in, they won't pay a deposit or a retainer, and they'll say, well, we're going to think about it and get back to you. And if I didn't like them, I always send a follow-up thank you email. Thanks for coming out. I appreciate you coming out. If you have any questions, please contact me. But if I don't like them, I will never send that email. And if they contact me with more questions or whatever, I say, I'm sorry, I'm fully booked. I told you at the tasting without a retainer, I cannot hold the date. And as I've preached in many of my scopes, and if you go to catch.me and look at all my old scopes, you will see business etiquette is number 1. Well, don't say that. I'm no longer available. The day after you were here, someone booked that date and paid the retainer. Sorry. There's ways to do it without being nasty, and I've preached that over and over. Yeah. Jay taught me that, and it's because a retainer is non-refundable, period. I always used to say a non-refundable deposit. Retainer encompasses all those words. Yes, I will hang up, or I'll get on Periscope, or, whatever. And that goes back to my other lessons. Go check out Met Jay at Cake Pop Con. Oh, cool. Yes, he's great. I saw his scopes from there. He looks like you guys had a lot of fun. What was I going to say? Business etiquette. Please go watch before you start weddings. If you haven't seen my scope. He was a joke for pop. Oh, cool. Go check out my scopes on business etiquette, because it is going to be utterly important. And if you feel that you can't deal with that, Jay Qualls of A Frosted Affair, he's also a business consultant through Willow Tree Consulting. You can also find him on Facebook. He does this video series called Cake Crumbs, which is what fired me up last year, and I hired him and couldn't be happier. So business etiquette is number 1. Yes, he will. On Valentine's Day, and I'm out of town. Hey, Kim. So, right. So if you don't feel that you can put up with attitude, a bride who's completely stressed, if you've been married and you went through a wedding, you know exactly how they're feeling. You know exactly what to say about, like, make sure you have them save a piece of cake for you because, you know, you're not going to eat and whatever. And just, you want them to feel like you're someone they can trust with their day, that you're someone that, right, getting married is very stressful. But what I was saying was, if you feel as a person that you cannot put up with bridezillas, that you cannot put up with them questioning you, changing their mind 50 times, it's rare, but I had one. If you feel that you can't do it without an attitude or a snarky email, please don't do weddings. Don't start doing it. Okay. So let's get back to the research. Okay. So you want to research wedding websites. I would advise you not to pay to get on, like, The Knot. You're welcome, Sydney. Thanks for popping in.